Oh my word, we have finally arrived. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the season finale here in the Challenge Series. 48 in universe, not real life, weeks have passed. And, we have finally reached the Group 3 Championship. The season champion will be determined, well, in the second half of this episode. Not in this episode, because I'm splitting into two, so I can be a little more liberal with the music editing, and because all 6 races wouldn't fit into one episode. So, at any rate, yeah, without too many further delays, because I'm sure I'll probably be staring at that episode limit anyway, let's just head down to the track for the race Uno. Alright, so we are here at Suzuka Circuit ahead of the... Why did that sound so automated? Suzuka ahead of the first race of this championship. I was supposed to have an intro here, but honestly there isn't much to introduce with this. This is just the first round, so this is pretty standard fare. Way in the back, our camera car is Carly Watts in her Ford GTLM. I think I probably just wanted to announce this now so I didn't have to interrupt the first opening lap of the race with it. And race Uno is green, or verde, I guess, I don't know. Why am I Spanish now? Don't ask questions. Starts at Suzuka are always a little awkward. If the people ahead of you are too wide, you have literally nothing to do but sit and wait, and that's exactly what a lot of people are waiting for right now. Alright, as Carly gets cut right off by Bagstrom, heading towards the last part of the S's. The first laps are always very slow. Each race in this championship will run on a 10-minute time limit, kind of like the roulette races would do. I think Carly just got back at Kevin a little bit for cutting her off in the S's. Give him a little nudge and be on your way. Out-drag Siegfried, who, I'll be honest, I don't know how this car even made it to this championship. The driver is no doubt worthy, I would say, but the car itself, this is probably the weakest Group 3, certainly bottom 3 at the very least. Kind of look up and down the field here. Oh, that's sketchy. Currently, yeah, this is really sketchy considering who it is. Not too long ago we saw those two take each other out and get pissed at each other. Currently leading is Miko Yazawa in her F21, forgot the name. Hikari has some advantage because he knows Suzuka pretty well. He's running P2. I think he started on pole. And Carly has quite a run on these two, but they're too wide. This is going to be really awkward to do. Okay, Ivan Surdakov has just turned Carly Watts into that outside wall. That's going to take a little while to fish that Ford out of that sand. The gravel obviously did pretty well at slowing that car down. She didn't hit the wall very hard. I think really the only real problem here is the amount of time that she has lost to the field, spending 15-20 seconds spinning off the circuit. Yeah, Ferdinand is in last, and the camera's zoomed out there and everything, Carly Watts still was never in frame, so that's cost her probably at least 10 seconds of race time there. If you can just about see Francesco off in the distance. Her race is not over by any means. This is probably looking at a 5-lap event here, so... It's pretty processional. The top 5 have kind of broken, or top 6, excuse me, have broken away, mainly because Jake's running Fidel off the circuit there. And these two have been fighting for who knows how long, so... Carly has rejoined the queue of drivers as we head back down the front stretch. Dom DePrisco is trying to take second away from the GTR driver. And with the inside lane's benefits, he shall do so. Fidel continues to fall through the field, having also lost the position to the other Corvette of Barbara Page. Umi's mid-engine moment being had through there. Carly has already begun to make her way back through the field, as she's already done once. Well, she's made these passes at least once before, anyway. She just caught Kevin Bagstrom asleep right there. They're close quarters. These aren't the widest corners on the track. Tightrope walking, making overtakes through the Degner curves, but Carly's probably a little motivated. She obviously has to be in the hurry up here. Well, here's an interesting question. Do we get some contact? No. Carly Watts does often take me as a more sportsman-like driver. She has, you know, outside experience in the world of motorsports, being a former IMSA driver, so... There's probably a bit of... there's probably something in her blood that's telling her not to retaliate against somebody. That was a little awkward. On to 130R, it's an attempted an overtake. That's a lot of curve, and she catches the car, but not before sending Fidel Fabian a little off course, and Umi Sonoda takes perfect advantage of that. In Watts' defense, Fidel didn't exactly leave her the most space in the world, but also in Fidel's defense, well, there's a curb there. And that's sort of the kind of the risks that you weigh up when you go to make a pass through a turn such as that one. Heading through the S's again. Should be about 2 laps to go here. And Carly would have to make up 8 positions in that time, and I'll be honest, I don't really see that happening. Passes are not extremely easy to make at Suzuka. They're not impossible, but they're not easy either. And so it requires the drivers to make sort of, like, unorthodox passing maneuvers like that one just onto the Degners right there. Alright, Jake, I think was trying to brake aggressively to keep Carly behind, and instead just ran almost straight through Kogasa. Interesting. So Carly's gonna get Kogasa and maybe even me heading towards Spoon Curve. A slight squeeze applied, and she does, but quite an understeer there. But I'm in no position to capitalize upon it. bit of grass, bit of bumper. Run on Hikari through the 130R. The 130? I mean, I guess there are no other ones that I can think of, so despite my doubts, she is up to 3rd place as we head on to what will be the last lap here at Suzuka. Has 2-minute laps, 1.5 minutes on the timer, so DePrisco has caught up to Nico, but catching is one thing, passing is another. Especially considering we're talking about Gran Turismo AI, they aren't exactly adept at passing. Carly's about 2 seconds down on the lead duo. Dom is, I think, was a little fast for the S's, but he has to catch his car in the last corner of them. So, loses some time there. Down to like just over a second now. That's the grass, Carly. Cars don't usually like that stuff. She got a good run out of the hairpin, but I think without a literally miraculous one, she won't be able to get to Nico by the end of the lap. Oh, especially not when you hook the curb like that. It's a much not needed understeer, and that's going to pretty much doom Carly Watts to P3 with that small misstep in that corner. As much as she may try and push the car through 130R, that still is not close enough to make up any places. And so, out of the last corner, Nico will win at Suzuka, making it Mercury's 6th Challenge Series victory in a row, since if you may recall, they literally swept episode 47. Dom DePrisco finishes 2nd, Carly Watts on a pretty solid recovery drive manages 3rd place. And so, a quick rundown of the full finishing order. And with that, we move on to race 2 as I attempt to stop burping. Alright, we are here for the 2nd race of the episode. Well, bigger events need bigger stages. And this isn't the biggest stage out there, but it's certainly one of them. Race 2 will take place at Bathurst, also known as Mount Panorama. Where do we even get Bathurst from anyway? It's called Mount Panorama, like, just call it that. I guess that's, you know, it's like the Circuit of Le Mans versus the Circuit de la Sarthe. Like, I guess it's probably a similar thing. Like, oh, it's called Mount Panorama, but it's the closest city is Bathurst or something? I don't know. Anyway, before I continue to confuse myself on Australian dialect, let's start the race. And they are away, and immediately I'm trying to make up positions. 3 wide with myself and Eric, and there's just no space for that there. Nozomi leads us down towards turn 1. Nico's trying to follow her ahead of her fellow Toyota driver, Fidel Fabian. And the camera car is Jake Scarborough, a person who, through all of his league racing days, has spent quite a bit of time on Mount Panorama. As we just watched Siegfried Brandt just send it right up the ass of Dom DePrisco. there's the close quarters combat that you often see at Mount Bathurst, and that's a big hit into the wall that we also pretty commonly see here. Man, Eder was braking like a coward there. Oh, just perfect parking space between Kevin, Dom, and the wall. Double overtake down the mountain, but that's also a barrier. That's also a barrier. Jake decides he's not waiting. He pushes Umi ahead of Ryan Wolf, and Umi nearly loses control as a result of the contact. Up ahead we see Carly Watts and Ivan Sotokov continue to battle. They just gotta run into Suzuka, and apparently they're not done. As Nozomi has reached a pretty comfortable distance away from the chasing drivers. Oh my word. Jake is continuing to sit behind these two as Ivan tries to find a lane, but Carly is... Oh. Alright, Ivan. I get he's probably testing your patience, but that's not really the way to go about it. Jake tries the outside, Carly Watts slides into the left-hander. Ivan's not going quietly. But he decides he must back out there or Jake is just gonna drive them to suicide too wide through there. Is usually not the best idea, no. Nice gear ratio, nice gear usage. Oh, my nose is... Down the back straightaway, Jake has a huge run out of the hairpin. Only barely clearing Carly Watts and is now being cut off by Kotori, who wants to pass on Taniguchi. And both parties get really physical. Jake gets a huge exit boost, but Kotori doesn't make the pass. And both cars lose out to Jake. Hikari tries to defend the position, but Jake just gets the better exit and ratios Taniguchi. Nozomi's lead has disappeared. Nico and even Thrasher, sort of tagging along with Nico, have now caught the leader. Fidel Fabian is still some ways back, is under threat from Eric Wojciechowski. As nighttime is setting in here at Bathurst, let's see if you've kept your headlights on correct, because you're going to need them in a moment. Because there are no streetlights or anything to guide your way for the most part. You're going to have to do this by okay, well, never mind. There are in fact streetlights, but not a whole lot compared to the natural lack of brightness around here for being so far from the city. This is not much unlike the Nürburgring. one with nature is. I just take that right-hander like a coward, and Jake makes me pay for it. See you later. As much as I'd love to make the excuse of, oh, I'm just preserving my car, or, oh, I'm just driving cautious because I'd rather keep the position I'm in. No, I just got caught lacking. As... Okay, Fidel did not give Eric any space on that inside curb whatsoever. Almost about cuts him off on exit, and Eric gets ahead. Jake gets into the side of Fidel. I don't really know who instigated that collision. I thought Fidel was going to go right to his quarter panel there. I'm surprised I didn't see more from these two, considering Eric does not get that stop. Jake takes complete advantage, and see you later, Ferrari. As we once again reached 2 laps to go. The deficit between the top 3 cars has remained pretty much stoic. But now Jake approaches them quickly. So I think the nighttime is setting in. A lot of drivers are probably going to start to get a little more cautious. Because, you know, they're already not super familiar with this track. We haven't really visited Bathurst all that many times here in the Challenge Series. I think it's probably one, maybe twice that we've raced here. And so a lot of this grid are not terribly familiar with the layout, so to run it now in the dark is just even harder still. But Jake knows the layout pretty well, so just embarrasses Thrasher heading down the mountain. That's not normally the kind of move you land on somebody. Now it sounds like I'm commentating a fighting game. So now it's about to be Jake versus Mercury Racing. Because he's going to have to catch Nico and Nozomi to grab the checkered flag. And corners like that will certainly help your matter. Certainly help the matter, I should say. He reached the nighttime and he turned on the jets. He got faster, I think. Yeah, clearly he started going faster when the sun went down. We have reached the final lap, because there's no way we're lapping this track in 55 seconds. That just... no. I don't even think a Tomahawk could do that and spend so much time going slow. You just try and do the blind attack thing? How does Jake even know what that means? So it is. Didn't matter. I think he was probably getting Nico regardless of the showmanship. I think Nico sounded like she was a bit out of control back here. Speaking of out of control back here, I have apparently got Eric on the ropes. And then I fuck around and miss a shift. Fidel has fallen. That is all. He has fallen in this event. Jake is there now. Just needs to find some way to slither on through. And he does precisely that at the second half of the mountain. I think that's exactly where he got Thrasher, if not a little later. And now he just has a couple more turns to go. There's the hairpin. The main one's the chase, really. If you can get good through there, he doesn't even have to make the best final corner because he'll have some distance. He's already got a top speed advantage on the most part. That said, Nozomi's got slipstream, so perhaps not. As instead, actually, it's Nico who's going for bonus points. She's trying to pass her teammate at the last possible minute, but she will not succeed. And so from the last turn, Jake Scarborough will complete the last of first challenge. Pull up alongside the pit wall, set a new fastest lap, and take the victory here in the complete darkness of Bathurst. Nico and Nozomi join him on the podium. And this is especially good for Nico, as she just won the last race, and now she gets another podium to her credit. So I don't even have to calculate points to tell you that she's the points leader at the moment. And another run through the whole finishing order. Oh, crap. Yeah, so there's your running order. Do I have any particular comments? There was just, you know, charge to the field, business as usual. The only thing that really seemed noteworthy to me was that Fidel Fabian just went from starting on the front row to finishing in P7. So, not exactly his best work. Alright, we have arrived for the third race of the episode. I'm just gonna hold off on doing the sort of points update until the intro for episode 3. Episode 3? What? Episode, part 2 of the episode. Where did I get it? I don't even know. I guess I had 3 in my mind because that's the number of races in episodes. Hold on one second. Okay. Now that I've gotten all the stupid out of my brain, we could maybe actually watch the motor race. Hopefully I won't completely forget how English works. The third race of the episode, the final race of this half of the episode, is Interlagos, and we are on board with Kotori and her Alfa Romeo. A driver who's seen this track plenty of times, must be said. But the last couple of times she'd seen it, she wasn't in nearly as good of a car. The Alpha 4C Group 3 isn't exactly amazing, but relatively speaking, it's miles better than the Group 4 one, which I think may actually be the worst in the Group 4 class. Because the Alpha 4C in Group 4 has like no power, but doesn't have the handling to go with that lack of power to make it worth driving. At the very least, the Group 3, it still doesn't have much power, but it at least has the handling on the other end, so you can, you know, there is at least that to rely on. The Group 3 just ain't got neither one. Or due to that effective cornering grip, it also makes, okay. Due to that more effective cornering grip, it also makes the car a little more touch sensitive. We're also trying to get a double kill here, not quite working. The improved cornering speed means that the Alpha 4C can get massive exits from turn 3. At least that's where it seems to particularly do well at. Ahead of the Corvette, who almost understeered right off the track there. It is a Mercury Racing 123 with me closing right up to the back of Umi in her R8. Nico behind us. Nitari running in fourth, but Jake and Thrasher are right there, as is Nozomi. And then we just have Brandt making the great super silhouette train of 2022. His car doesn't turn that well, but he's got just enough power to make it so that other cars are kept at bay for some length of time. Kotori is going to go on the outside of Kogasa, get that pretty easily somehow. Uses the same momentum to slingshot ahead of the Skyline, and she is clear and able to track down the lead crew. And just kind of split off a little bit, I think, courtesy of Mitari's relatively poor top end in that Evo. And Slasher sees the moment. He almost does, but Jake gets a better exit on the outside. They're still going to be too wide heading up the hill. Yeah, well, Thrasher doored him at 4, so it seems only fair. Jake doors him into 6. And holds on to the position. Thrasher tries to sneak on the outside. He'll get to the inside again. Forces Jake the long way around on defense. And now he shoehorns himself into P5. But Jake is not done yet. Make a little more side contact with the Mustang, and he's gonna position himself back ahead momentarily. May remain subject to change. He gets a big bit of understeer there, and finally, I think, Thrasher is the victor of that duel. Just about. Obviously, we're gonna get a heck of a lot more laps in here than we will at than we would at Bathurst, as we're on lap 4, and we've only just passed halfway. So oh, and Nozomi tapped the brakes heading out of 3, and I don't think Kotori was prepared for that, and just smacks into the Mustang. I mean, you shouldn't have to get on the brakes in the middle of 3, not in a Group 3 car. Maybe in a road-going Mustang like Nozomi normally drives, but not that. Super aggressive braking from the Alpha puts her into P6. Next target is Thrasher, and he's catching up to Nitari, so should make it all the easier of a task to reel him in. Using all of the curbs. Bit of a smack into the back of the Mustang. Can't imagine Thrasher's the happiest about that, but it's not like she ran him off the road. And these two do have history here at Interlagos. Take you back to episode 39. They nearly took each other both out of the race, and my dad scored the win off of Kotori's mistake into that exact same corner, so history repeats itself, but this time it's not nearly as much of a consequence to either driver. Puts again attacking all of the curbs here at Interlagos. So if that car is indeed as twitchy as I feel like it is, Kotori is trying her best to mask it by pushing the car as much as humanly possible through these turns. with what should be coming up to 2 laps to go here at Interlagos. She has Umi, myself, and Nico firmly within her windshield. But obviously, you know, she has to make the overtakes. She's got enough of a run on Nico. She might try one right here, right now. Tried, but Nico covers the inside off, so Kotori could not. One slight track limits warning later, Kotori is to the outside of the FT1 and she takes third from her teammate Nico. And now begins to track Umi and myself down for the win. With just over a lap to do so, so I think from here it looks possible. Of course, she will have to contend with 2 of the best cars on a straightaway ahead of her, in the form of me and my Viper and her R8, compared to the Alfa Romeo 4C, which has pretty much no horsepower to speak of. With a Sector 1 like that, she's in striking distance. I'm just gonna have to take quite a special Sector 2 and 3 in order to get the job done. I wonder if she'll go for the Ty Gibbs move, just push one of us aside in order to grab the positions. This is the championship after all, so. And we've all kind of declared to ourselves we're not just going to sit here and secure the bag. If somebody wants to race for it, then god darn it, we're going to race for it. Time kind of running out here in this one. I don't think Kotori is going to be able to get Umi. But I'm in danger. Especially with how quick she's been through this last turn. More specifically, how quick she's been on the exit of this last turn. Case in fucking point. She's now right at my spoiler. And that top speed advantage that I might have is not going to mean a whole lot, as we're going to go right up to the finish line. And I have been denied. So Umi Sonoda is going to grab the win at Interlagos. It's a top 4 lockout for Mercury, with Nico coming 4th behind myself and Kotori on the podium. Thrasher with another... Well, actually... Thrasher with another, like, not quite podium, but close to podium result. I had a, because I had to remember, wait, where did he finish before? Actually, yeah, where did he finish? I should probably be sure of that before I start nothing off about it. Maybe his 3rd good finish in a row. No, round 1 was a farce for him. He ran well at Bathurst, yes. Finishing, just had the tab in your hand, Riker. He ran well at Bathurst with 4th, and then here with 5th, but he didn't get much done at Suzuka, to say the least. And so that'll conclude the matters of part 1 of episode 48. Why do I keep doing that? It's because these are almost long enough you could call them episodes. This is going to be like a 40-minute video for 3 races because they're all 10 minutes apiece. And because I like talking more than I have to in cases like this very one. So, points update will come at the intro for race 4, essentially. Not the intro to race 4, but the introduction to part 2 of the episode. Though, you know, the little opening screenshot, blah, 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 blah. End the episode before I make a bigger clown out of myself, please.